Hi everybody, here's Maggie. She was down on the floor wagging her tail at me. She wanted some attention. She thinks it's her dinner time, but it isn't. Is it? No. She's getting too fat. So we got her on a bit of a diet for her own good. It's called tough love, isn't it? Yeah, it just happened so fast. Okay, down you go. Okay. I thought I better do another quick video. So, welcome to my home. And in the last video, I repotted that slipper orchid and I put it in this. And I left it soaking a little bit to let the clay balls get nice and moist. And then I was going to drain it. You probably saw me end the video. Well, it was darn awkward. And all the little balls wanted to roll off, so it wasn't working. So yesterday was watering day, and I thought, no, I got to change it. But I want to show you what I did. It was just too awkward. Now, if I put a hole in the bottom, it might have been okay, probably would have been, but then it's still pretty heavy, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to change it. So, what I have done, you know, is sometimes these things you do, then you redo them and you think it's better, because being a ground orchid that sort of has extra humidity always around them, because the ground is more humid on a rainy day or damp days. It will stay on the ground longer than it will stay up in the trees where the orchids are hanging. So I thought, well, I put it in this little orchid pot. I put a little extra bark on the top because this is where the flower was, and there's another fan-shaped piece here I'm hoping will still have an orchid. So it's just basically bark and clay balls now. And a few of the things that were in the pot with it, which was no moss, which I was kind of glad to see. So the rest of the balls and some bark are in here, and some water, because it kind of looks pretty anyway, but I thought, well, if I put it in here, no, Maggie, I thought it can drain, but it's also going to get humidity from kind of like being in the ground, especially in a dry winter house or a dry summer. Whatever we get. So anyway, this is it. And so I'm going to put it there. Plus, we're supposed to have really cold weather. We've been hanging around at night about -8, and it warmed up a bit last night, but after the weekend they're predicting like -15 or something. So I bought the orchids on my we got that at a garage sale, and we like it there because on my cutting board, if I'm not using it, I can push it under here, and it's handy for putting things on a little higher than the counter. So I want to show you, because as I said, it was watering day yesterday, and I want to show you just how well these orchids are doing, because a lot of time if I go around for a quick video, you don't see it. But I want to show you the roots in each of these, because all of these ones that are in glass have only been there a few months. That I started putting them in last year when I found out they were doing good. Yeah, they've all been in since last year, say summer to fall. And I've likened them so much from the other ones, which are still out in the windows and are doing so well. I like it so much, I thought I'm doing them all. And I want to show you why, so I'm going to show you a close-up on that. And also, if you don't have a lot of space for orchids and you just want to get small ones, they're very rewarding too. Now, just let me grab Minnie Mart and put her there. And just grab this one. Now, this is one I got. This is Fel Young Lava. And I just got that late last year. I took it out of moss. Look at this flower. Let me see if I can get a real, isn't it beautiful? And the leaves are all good. From Roehampton, it came in moss. And look at the roots. Now I'm going to be taking the camera and going a little closer so you have a better look. But the roots are doing well, and you can see right here. They love the bark too, because the bark they can cling to, and they like to cling. And I think that it makes them really happy when they can cling to something. So I think that's part of the thing, because they're in glass and they come out easy, but whatever they're clinging to will still be on their roots, and it can stay there as far as I'm concerned. But this beauty has 6 nice leaves, one baby one we won't count. And even though I moved it right away from moss to bark, I found the little ones that I was getting small are doing so much better this way. Now, is it because they're getting light in the roots? You know, I used to say, well, it's nice they get photosynthesis, but does it really make a difference on their roots? Well, I'm beginning to think it does. And the other question I keep getting is, algae, am I getting algae? Well, when I first put them in and I didn't put holes, I got algae. And I've cleaned them all out, and if there wasn't enough holes, then I got algae. But I have not had any algae in these, and I think it's because there's a drain hole in or near the bottom. If I don't put it right, if Jack doesn't put it right on the bottom, then you can see right here, right at the bottom edge, a drain hole. So also oh yes, I was getting algae too, mostly because my bark that's supposedly medium bark is more like small as far as I'm concerned, and nothing like the large bark I used to be able to get. And there wasn't enough airspace, and that airspace is important. Now, if you're somewhere dry, you can use the clay balls or lava rock, or if you're somewhere moist, you can use something else. But I started using these wine corks because people mount on cork, and it's good. They seem to do really good being mounted, and they're organic. I like organic, and as I say, the roots seem to like them, and it helps for airspace. Now, this one I put quite a few in the bottom because it was such a small plant, and I thought, well, they'll go down for the moisture, and they are. So I wanted to just bring that one out, but I do want to show you a close-up. And another one, you know, Minnie Mart, she wasn't doing any good at all. I've had her since 2021 and had nothing till she went in this, and there is no holes in this because she's tiny, but it's a chandelier bulb, or it's part of something that there was this hole. And because the hole was so big, I put a cork right across the bottom so the little pieces wouldn't go. But yes, she is just in bark, and she has a beautiful root system. She's getting leaves, and I thought I was never going to get her to grow. So yes, I think I'm very happy. I find the glass like my traffic cones are doing really well. They're growing good, but you know, as you get older and you have a big plant, you gotta lift and move. It's a little more work. These are not work. They're in a way more enjoyable because I can see the roots, because I always used to have either the traffic cones or this type of pot, which I have given a lot of my pots away. First I started giving the small pots away because I was having no success with this weather with the small pots. And then it seems I got a couple out in the gazebo where I keep my pots, but I just am not that pleased. So anyway, it's been a busy day. I took some walnuts because they're good for you, but I added, you take a couple cups of walnuts and then you take 2.5 tablespoons of maple syrup, and then you put the spices you prefer on them, and you just stew them in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes, turning them over halfway. And they're kind of nice and crunchy, but they taste a little bit better. And I don't eat a lot of sugar, so I don't mind taking a little bit that way. And then I had this frozen chicken that I wanted to cook up, but it was frozen, so I stuck it in the oven at 375. And after this video, I'll just cut it up, take it out, cut all the pieces off I can get, and put it back in the oven for dinner. So, and then we had a grocery shop today, and the price of groceries here in British Columbia, at least here up in the interior, we had one of these little packing boxes that stores sell with a handle. They're just a square, you know, just 2 by 2 maybe. They're not big. We had one of those fairly full, and another one with a few things and a jug of laundry detergent in it, and really not much in it. $200 and $201 for 2 things of groceries. And we got some liver for Maggie, and that was the only meat. And what did Jack say the other big thing was? Because we couldn't believe it. We looked at the other big thing. He says, the other big thing was, oh, the laundry detergent was $15. And we never had vitamins or anything like that that you're going to pay an arm and leg for. And no meat. And really, I'm telling you, I can remember going to the grocery store and coming out like this and spent $40. Our prices have quadrupled. I'm telling you, things are not so good. So I don't know. It's lucky I have a garden, and we don't eat as much as we did when we were younger. That's another good thing. Our big family, how are they making it? And then we have our chickens. I have to show you. I'm so proud of them. Now, first I should tell you, when I put my eggs from our chickens, and we have 4 chickens out there, we have Mary Jo. She's in Araucana, and they were all young. This is their first eggs they've ever laid. So there's Mary Jo, and then Little Red. She's supposed to be a little bigger, I think, but she's little, and she lays the smallest eggs. And her eggs get better in time. And then we have the 2 we saved from the chicken farm that they cut the end of their beaks off already, and they were all being sold to these big layer people that buy lots of them. We saved 2 of them, and I called them the twins. I kept trying to name them different things, and now I just call them the twins. I can never tell them apart, so I say the twins. So now I don't wash them when I put them in there, and we got their hemp out in the chicken yard. It's a byproduct of hemp, and it's so good because it keeps everything nice and clean, and it just soaks up any things they might poop out, and they turn dehydrated. So, and it's also good for the garden. So Mary Jo, she just started laying, And so we got 4 eggs, 4 chickens. Then we might get 3 tomorrow, and the next day we'll get 4. And this is one of her eggs. Isn't that nice? Yeah, and then the twins, oh, and they're so good. And they've got really hard shells. I just don't want to drop one. And this is one of the twins, the ones that were bred. They're Lee Brownhams or something. And they're very nice chickens. And the eggs are very good. And they start small, and the longer they lay, the bigger they'll get. And then there's little red. Hers is the smallest. This is hers, and I guess it'll get bigger too. But she made more noise when she first started laying eggs. She made more noise, I'm telling you, because if you went in there, she'd peck at you. And she'd kick stuff everywhere and complain. She would complain and being so noisy. And she doesn't do that anymore. She's just a normal chicken now, but boy, she did not want to start laying eggs. maybe she was like some people that didn't really want 20 kids. I don't know. But they're funny. They each have their own personality, and they seem to be doing well in the cold. We have one little heat lamp in the run, and then I put them up in their roost every night. And so I just go out there at 9 o'clock and I turn their light off and I call them, and they come all the way from the run up their little tunnel, in and up they go. 1, 2, 3, 4. In they go. Good night. And in the morning when I get up, before I make our breakfast, I go out and I let them out and I go, cock-a-doodle-doo, time to get. So yes, I'm enjoying them. They're pets. They're definitely pets, and so they should be laying eggs for us for some time to come. They're not getting out. I haven't really decided if I'll start laying them out. There's some issues. They have a big run for just 4 chickens. They have a lot of space, but I have to remember at night. They have a little door on the roost so that you can open it to clean in there and then close it again. And I guess I didn't close it very good the other night, or when I cleaned it in the afternoon, which only takes 5 minutes. It is not a big job. And I went out and they were all peeking out the door. The door they must have pushed open. They weren't jumping out, or they would have been in the yard, but they're all peeking out, talking to me, and they're, oh boy. All these things you don't think are going to happen. Anyway, that's enough gabbing, Carolyn. I want to show you a close-up of these orchids. And the weather today, they're predicting cold, and it's been dark today. Yesterday it was sunny and blue sky and just beautiful, and I went for a walk, but today it's just dark all day and about 0 degrees. And you know, the temperature in the car when we went grocery shopping said 0, and when I came home I checked our outside thermometer and it said 0, so pretty accurate, I think. So let me get the camera and see if I can not move it as fast as I sometimes do. Okay, let me get this. Okay, yeah, I was looking at the roots on these, and now we got good light here, but this is all new growth. This is one of the last orchids I got, and it was in moss, and it's still got, it had one spike that finished, but then it got another one that's still in pretty full bloom. But this one, when I got it, all the leaves were split, all of them. That hasn't happened here, and you can see here. So it had had some bad watering practice or something, so I'm hoping that won't happen anymore. But this is a new root coming here. And so that's a good sign. And this, what I see here, is a good sign. They seem happy because, you know, not that long ago I looked and I couldn't see anything happening like here. So I think some of these leaves I'd like to see a little firmer, but this is one that also has a hole in the bottom. I think it was for a candle. And so when I lift this off to water, it's very simple. And so this one. Now this is one here. There's the flowers. This is an orchid I had in a regular pot. It was one of mine. And last fall, I put it in this glass vase because I like this vase. And you can see here now, here's a root that didn't do well. Maybe I didn't see it, but there is good green roots. This is a new root, and let's see, it's got a big spike, so there's more here, and you can see the roots here. So basically, these pots are the same as these pots. They have holes, but they have light. And one problem you find with, well, one problem I found with these pots, with the smaller bark, was you could get in the middle at the bottom area, you could get places where there's just no air and your roots will rot. So that's why I do put these extra corks in, and should have with these. But you know, when you can see what's happening in your plant, it makes a great big difference. So this is Minnie Mart, and I'm so happy. I loved her. I remember when I first got her and I looked at other people growing them. I thought they're so beautiful. You can really enjoy orchids and not need a lot of space just by picking the smaller ones. And but like I say, I wasn't any good with the smaller ones. And look at these roots. Look. And these all came in moss last year. They all came in moss. These are all new in here. And this is one I had, and it wasn't doing well. You can see the last leaf that had come didn't even grow. And I thought this one was dying. And that's one reason I thought, well, I'll try the glass. And these are all new roots growing here. Those are the old roots. These are all new roots. And it's all around. And I wanted to share an extra video with you about this because, well, so far, and now I've had them long enough, like I will show the other one, but my traffic cones have always done well. And this is Georgia Pearl. Is she beautiful? And you know, if you look at these roots, they're sort of dry already, even though I watered it the same way. And I just find, even inside, I'm tempted. I think if I find a nice glass vase and I talk Jack into doing some more holes, I think I'll be putting her in a glass vase, and I know she'll like it. She's finally got over all the couple years of just suffering while she just was trying to not establish after changing her from moss to bark. But putting them in these and soaking my bark with seaweed extract and Kelly Magic has made a big difference into that transfer from moss to bark. So there's still lots of flowers coming out. There's my nuts with spice on. Couple burnt, so no more than 10 minutes. And the frozen chicken, it's in the oven. It's in the oven, and when I hang up, I have to take it out cut it into pieces and spread it all over the pan. So I guess I'm just sharing with you what's happening in my house today. So some of these house plants, I forget the name of this one, but it's getting light and it's getting kind of, and isn't he cute? It's our little rooster because we don't have a rooster. So this is the first one I put in glass, and it was watered yesterday too. And it's done well, and I want to have a day where I talk about spikes, whether to take them off or not. And I have really, really good reason for that. And this little one here, it wasn't doing well. I thought it had a bad case of scale. And this flower, I just want to see it come out, but then I'll be cutting this back because I'm waiting for that one to really develop. And I think even these seem to be quite happy. And here, this one here, I thought there was something I broke, but there's no spike on that one yet, but there's still all that good growth, even after a change from last year. So this is Val Young Home Lucky Star. So yes, last middle of June, end of June, I think, maybe July, I did those. So I think they're making the transfer better. And my traffic cones, the orchids have always been happy in them. So, and because of the cold weather, I've taken most of the plants out of the window. I got one up here, and I brought them all close to the inside of the house because these windows, they stick out and they're great for summer because this is the north window. They're really great for summer heat if you're not putting all your orchids out. But when it's cold like this, so I have both of them brought right in close to the edge of the window. And same over here. This one here, I'll be cutting the spikes off on this, and I'm going to talk about that with you one day. So let's see, there's Maggie. Maggie! She's not supposed to bark. No barking! Maybe you can see the chickens. Let's go see. Sometimes if they hear me, yeah, there they are. Can you see them? Let me see if I do a close-up before we go. There they are. There they are. Yeah. They're happy out there. They got quite a bit of room for 4 chickens. Anyway, you guys, there they are. They heard me. They have great hearing. Okay, bye for now. Thanks for joining me.